Welcome to 77 Questions with Chesa Dental Care, and this week we have Dr. Ratnadeep Patil with us. Hello doctor, how are you?
Hi Sakshi. Yeah, I'm doing fine. Thank you for bringing me in.
Thank you so much for your time, sir. Are you ready? Shall we start?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. Where were you born?
Mumbai?
Most memorable childhood memory while growing up?
Well, bursting balloons on passerbys in holy time.
Okay, that sounds fun. Would you call yourself adventurous?
Yes, very much.
Okay. Did you enjoy going to school or staying at home?
School, going to school.
Okay. Did you have any favorite subject as a kid?
Yes, math.
Okay. Would you call yourself an extrovert or introvert?
Less of an introvert, more of an extrovert, but not exactly an extrovert, in between somewhere.
Okay. What was your dream job when you were young?
To become a medical practitioner.
Do you have any siblings?
Yes, elder brother and elder sister. I'm the youngest.
What do they do?
Elder brother is an engineer, lives in the US for the last 40 years. And he's very much settled there. Sister is an entrepreneur. She lives in Bhopal.
Do you love animals?
Yes, very much, especially the wild. I do a lot of wildlife sanctuary and I enjoy doing that from last 30 years or so.
And where do you currently reside?
I live in Mumbai.
What's your favorite thing about Mumbai?
Well, the professionalism, the vibrance, the electrification that we feel we get when you're in Mumbai, people don't like the busyness, the partying, everything. I love Mumbai for everything that it offers, especially for those who have lived here. There's a lot and more because we've been brought up in this kind of culture.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of that city. Do you like traveling?
Yes, a lot.
How many countries have you visited?
More than 40 countries.
Top 5 cities in the world.
New York, Vienna, Munich, Denpasar, Bali, and in Spain, Malaga.
All beautiful choices. Your favorite activity while you are on vacation?
Well, enjoying the local place, traveling around, looking for local cuisine, sports wherever possible, some kind of entertainment in the evenings, partying, all of it.
Do you have a favorite cuisine?
Yes, while in Italy it's Italian, while in Spain it's tapas, so I keep changing my favorite cuisine. I love all kinds of food. There's no real one favorite food. But the best I like always to go back is completely Indian food and local homemade Indian food.
Okay. Your favorite restaurant?
Many, but a small eatery in my neighborhood, which serves local Maharashtrian food. It's called Aswad. I love it. It's also at the airport now, Mumbai airport. They make very, very good local snacks from Maharashtra.
Do you cook?
Yes, a lot. Usually in very busy time, maybe 8 to 10 times a year. When I go on vacations with friends, yes, I do a lot of cooking. I love cooking.
Okay. And do you have any routine that you follow on daily basis?
Yes. I get up early in the morning, I go for my walks, very disciplined at breakfast. I start working at sharp 9 a.m. and I work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Usually come back home, spend some time with the family, go for a stroll again, have dinner on time. This is my routine generally. And then I have about 3.5 hours after I finish my dinner. My dinners are very early, 8:15, 8:30, and I sleep by 11:30 at night.
Okay. So, what do you say? You chose dentistry or dentistry chose you?
Dentistry chose me because I wanted to go for medicine. I could not get admission. I took like I was waitlisted number three, but never got in. 6 months later, I started liking dentistry, but dentistry chose me first.
Okay. Which college have you done your education from?
Government Dental College, Mumbai.
What was your favorite subject in dentistry?
Well, pharmacy, anatomy, and physiology at the beginning, and then oral surgery and prosthodontics as a past.
Favorite teacher in college?
Dr. Hemant Umarji, my favorite teacher, like more like a friend.
Okay. Were you a part of any extracurricular activities in your college days?
Yes, in junior college, it was basketball, and in dental college, it was football as or soccer, more of compulsion, and in school days it was cricket.
Tell us about your most favorite or memorable moment from your college days.
From my dental college days, well, it was the most memorable moment was I think getting into the cultural activities and performing on stage, singing, and that was one of the most memorable in terms of non-academic activities. Academic activities, it was more related to working on patients. Got to treat a fracture patient in BDS. That was very memorable because there was lack of staff. So I was assisting and did an intermaxillary fixation. As a student, I was excited about it.
Okay. Any friend from college that you are still in touch with?
Yes, many. Some of them live close by, and we keep meeting as well. We talk to each other at least twice a week. Definitely I'm in touch with people from college days, both from junior college as well as from dental college.
If you had to organize a college reunion, where would that take place?
Well, we have had several reunions in different locations, Dandeli, Goa, Lonavala. So we keep doing that at different locations. It's difficult for everybody to come together, but usually the college unions are closer by in Maharashtra because most of the people stay in this area. So I don't think there is a favorite location, but I'm looking forward for one trip in Panchgani or Mahabaleshwar. Come very close to that.
Are you married?
Yes, very much. I'm married to a dentist. Yes.
Okay. How do you guys meet?
We're in the same class. So we met in 1984.
Do you have kids?
Yes.
What are their names and what do they signify?
I have two children. My son is called Pratyush, which means rising sun. And my daughter is Rutika. It's like either a flowing stream in Hindi or it's some virtue. So there are different meanings to that.
Okay, that's beautiful. And what do they do currently?
So my son is a biomedical engineer from Johns Hopkins and he's an MBA from INSEAD from France. Currently he works in India. He works for a global strategy team in consultancy service in pharmacy industry, in the life care and pharmacy industry. My daughter is a dentist. She passed out last year. She's currently doing her master's from King's College London. And of course, this is a 4-year program where you partly go to London and then rest of the time you spend in the clinic. So she works with me as well.
What is your parenting style? Easygoing or strict?
Most of the times easygoing, rarely strict. Most of the times it was easygoing.
3 values that defines you.
So I'll make it short. 3 values. Truthful to what I do on an everyday basis, whether it's my patient or family or friends or whoever it is, for sure. Um, I would say this. The second is to I like to empathize with everybody that I deal with. Try to understand, get into their shoes, understand where they come from. Try to discuss things with them if I think they're not on the right track, but understand them before I deliver whatever I have to deliver. And the third virtue is be consistent with whatever you do in terms of however you work with. I like more predictable behavior, and I like more rational behavior all the time. So I try to build my life around all these things. Apart from so many other hundreds of virtues that you need to have.
What are your thoughts on work-life balance?
I like to balance my work life on a regular basis. So that's what I do. I work from 9 to 5. After that, I spend time with my family. I have my breakfast with my parents and dinner with my parents. Even today, my father is 90 years old, but I still make it a point that I have breakfast and then on a regular day. On the weekends, usually it's difficult because usually I'm traveling for lecturing or doing something else. So, but I try to make it as predictable as possible from Monday to Friday.
Okay. Any childhood hobbies you still pursue?
Well, I don't really pursue any hobbies which I did in my childhood. I started with stamp collection and coin collection when I was a small child, and then I had music as in my hobby. I played the tabla and the sitar when I was in high school. I also sung a little bit in my college days. Today, I don't feel that I'm associating with any of these hobbies. My hobbies usually is to do some kind of outdoor stuff, today.
Okay.
So I also read a lot of books, but none of them are consistent hobbies. I keep jumping my hobbies.
So, do you consider yourself a music lover?
Very much a music lover. I love music. I listen to different kinds of music. Even today, whether it is the typical Hindi music or the old time music, Hindi music, or it's the newer version of both English and the non-Hindi kind of music. I love different kinds of music.
Okay. So, you said you played many instruments as a kid. Which was your favorite instrument?
I think I like the tabla and the sitar. Even today, I like these two instruments because I played them. But I also like the flute. So I like to listen to the flute. I think I like quite a mix of instruments. It doesn't have to be a particular instrument. I enjoy most of the instrument as long as it's rhythmic and it's good and time of the day as well.
Okay. So you said you were into reading as a kid, but do you still read?
Not as a kid. I used to read a lot till about 5 years back. I read a lot of books, different kinds of books, from management books to philosophical books, fiction as well. So as a child, I used to read a lot of Enid Blyton with the famous five and the adventure books. So I've been reading a lot, but last 5 years I'm not reading quite a lot. So I did a lot of reading for academic purposes as well. So 5 years I'm not reading a lot now. Maybe not 5 years, maybe 3 years, 3 years.
Your favorite author?
The non-technical guys, Malcolm Gladwell, the guy who's wrote the tipping point or the blink or the outliers. I like his style of writing.
Your three books that is on your must-read list.
The Blue Ocean Strategy, one of the books that you should write because they talk about how to make a strategy canvas for yourself and try to be in the blue ocean, not fight with your competitors. Great book. Tipping Point, again telling you about different things which make you change the way you live your life, which you never think about. So Tipping Point is that kind of book. A great book because it's essential. It's a practical book for living life. And then, of course, Tuesdays with Maury, an old professor who is on his deathbed, trying to tell his student, and the student is visiting him every Tuesday to write notes on how his life was and how one should lead life. Somebody on the deathbed, intelligent guy, trying to share these notes. Great book.
Sounds very interesting book. So do you also write?
Yes, I did a lot of technical writing. I wrote a textbook when I was in the year 2000. I'm just about writing something else as well. I have written more than 150 articles here in peer-reviewed international journals, published a lot. So I've been writing a lot. I'm also writing a textbook on real life, which I started about 12 years back, on the way I could think of life at that time, and I'm continuing doing that for now. And I hope in 3 years' time I'll be able to finish that book. It will give a very different perspective for people because it's not written at one time, it's written from different times.
Tell us more about your first ever publication.
Well, the first academic related or technical publication was my textbook, Book on Aesthetic Dentistry, which I published in the year 2000. I published on my own. A lot of pictures in that book, became very popular, sold more than 5,000 copies, available in more than 8 countries. So that was my first book.
News or sports? What do you prefer watching?
Both. News also, but limited. Sports, limited, not limited, but limited to cricket, tennis, and soccer.
How sport has impacted your life in any way?
Well, sport is actually something that you should know for day-to-day life management. When you play a team sport, it's about team building, team managing, and it's when you play a solo sport, it's about your performance. So in dentistry, if you're performing a procedure on somebody, it's a solo sport. You have to excel so that you can give the best result to the patient. But it's also teamwork because your assistants are helping you. Your dental technician is giving you something. Your front desk is making appointments. And so teamwork comes in play as well. If you're playing a cricket, which is a long-term game, it tells you about long-term plan. If you're playing soccer, which is a short-term game, it tells you about short-term planning and action. So you learn a lot from different games. Yeah. So even a racing game tells you something else. It tells you about managing your adrenaline in those crucial times when you want to do some mind-boggling work. So all of these games and sports tell you a lot about how you want to lead your life.
Have you had any mentors in life?
Yes, many mentors, but many mentors that I've met. I mean, most of the people I met were usually will give me some kind of insights on new things, and I would quickly try to learn from them. So I did have a lot of mentors in my life.
Your first mentor in life?
My first mentor was my grandfather. Very well educated guy, came from a very poor background. Lost his father when he was 9-10 years old. But in 1929, he was in London studying his post-graduation in civil engineering from Imperial College London. And his story was like a big hero. He was a big hero, and his story was like a very unique story from poverty, being picked up by the Maharajas of Kolhapur and then Baroda. They educated him in College of Engineering, Pune, and then Imperial College London. And then he served Baroda state, and then he was Joint Secretary of Gujarat Maharashtra state. A great mentor for me because when he had retired, I was a very young boy. So till the age of 15, actually I was associated with his mentorship a lot. So he's my first mentor.
Okay, that's an inspiring story. Any incident that has changed your life or outlook towards your life?
Yes. One incident which really changed the way I started thinking of life was in 1986. We went for a walking trip to the Himalayas. There were a couple of seniors from dental college, and the four of us went to the Himalayas, and we walked up the Himalayas for about 20 odd days. We started our trip from Rishikesh. We went up to Kedarnath and then Badrinath through the routes which are not usually traveled. There is no vehicle, and on the way we learned a lot about life. We saw people coming there to get moksha. We saw learned people on the way. We learned about the stars and the skies and about different rituals, and it changed the way I thought about life. So at a very early age, I got this experience, and it really changed the way I was. Once I was back from the trip.
We know you are a PhD. Briefly tell us about your journey.
So, I always was interested in research. I was trained as a research associate from London, involved in a lot of clinical trials, and then I was associated with a lot of research mentors from the world, from US and US and Europe as well. And I wanted to do something different. So my favorite subject was implant dentistry, where I was trained in New York University. So I decided to do my PhD in implant aesthetics. My mentor was in Europe, and I got into this PhD because of a lot of cases that I had done. So I had to work really hard, because as Indians we are not trained for research at all, zero training, and we are not at that level. And studying with a European mentor, I really had to learn a lot of research completely differently. So 9 years it took for me to finish my PhD and defend it finally. But it was a great learning, both personally from a great mentor like Marco Cune, and also understanding research from a very different perspective. Um, so it was hard work, really hard work. And let me tell you, Sakshi, it's difficult to do a PhD from Europe, because they don't charge you for that. You don't pay any fees. You
Okay.
have to earn it.
Yeah.
You have to publish, only then you can defend it. No fees. In fact, they pay you money to do a PhD.
Yeah. But you have to do that stronger research to,
You have
get.
to publish it in the top journals in the world, and there is no fee. They pay you for publishing.
Okay. And what drove you to choose this subject?
Well, implants was always close to my heart. That's the first thing I learned late in 1980s from New York University, and my teachers were Gerald Nisnik and Charlie Weiss and Linkau, those old guys, in implant dentistry. I always loved implant dentistry. I loved aesthetic dentistry. Implant aesthetics was my favorite subject. So that's the reason why I wanted to pursue a PhD.
Okay. So are you more inclined towards research, innovation, or entrepreneurship?
So I'm extremely interested in entrepreneurship. It came to me naturally. I just became a leader without realizing that I was made for leadership. I learned on the way, so I didn't even realize that I was an entrepreneur. I didn't even know the word entrepreneur when I started my career. Um, well, research came in because research makes you more analytical. It came in both as a business opportunity, it came in as a personal interest as well. So I would say that I am a natural entrepreneur because I didn't know about it. I became a researcher initially because I thought I saw business in that as well. But moment I went into research, I understood the other side of it, to be more analytical and understand how that can be related to clinical dentistry. It's been a mix for me, very frankly.
Okay. And which was the first company you launched?
The first company, limited company we launched was Smile Care Clinic Private Limited, which became a limited company in 1990s, 25 years back. But we started that 4 years before that. So about 30 years, the concept of education, research, and clinical dentistry.
And what was the one thing that helped you to, sort of transition from one idea to the bigger brand and the brand that it is today?
So I started like everybody else, a single chair clinic, a small clinic. But I always thought that dentistry has to be more holistic, more interdisciplinary. It can't be segmented like what we were taught in college. this department, that department, because the patient does not have multiple departments in his mouth. The patient has a holistic dental requirement. So, I always thought that it was not the way how we want to treat patients. So, I wanted to work with other people together, build something bigger, and that's always was my thought process. So, I started humbly with a single clinic, but very soon I had an orthodontist friend whom we worked together and started Smile Care, and then we started building a team. So, from a team of 2 people or 3 people, we started growing the team gradually, and till the time we have a team of 50 people working for us and multiple outlets to offer our services from. So that's been a big journey for us.
And do you have any other ventures except from Smile Care?
Yeah, so on the way, we had many ventures. I started a publication company. We started a digital education company as well, and recently we launched with other group of people a health technology related company. So been involved in multiple companies on the way as well.
Can you give a brief introduction about your other ventures as well?
So the digital education venture was offshoot from my conventional education venture. The publication company was just formed for publications of different kinds, and because I didn't want to, I wanted to make it a business entity as well. The new entity, which is the health technology related company, is to help different specialists, including dentists, to get better output from what they are doing. To make it more, you know, to make it more meaningful for them to do dentistry, to help them in the business of dentistry. So it's going to be done through technology. It's a new venture. It will be launched next year.
Okay. We see a very strong inclination towards technology and education. Do you also like to teach yourself?
Yes. So, I've been doing, I've been learning all the time. I go to some typical mentor and learn something quickly and come back. So that's what I've been doing. But technology is going to change the way we're going to learn. 5G coming in very soon. If you have to use technology to better everything, not only your learning processes, but your career prospects as well. How to manage your business, how to conduct your business, how to make it more efficient. Everything will have to use technology. Not only the technology which is used in dentistry. I'm not talking of digital impressions. I'm not talking of CAD cams. That's the internal dental part. I'm talking about the business of dentistry. The opportunity of using technology there is far bigger. And that's what you should use for building efficiencies and making your profession more profitable and more outreaching. More easy to communicate also to the end customer, who's going to get very technological savvy.
What drives you to teach, especially since you have been teaching for a very long time at NYU?
Oh, see, but I teach because I love clinical dentistry, and I like to express in my teaching clinical dentistry. I don't teach anything from the book, or I don't want to make anything like a point format. I don't want to. I want to teach something which the students can immediately apply in their clinical practice. So, and that drives me because I'm a clinician by heart. I like to teach what I'm doing with my hands, what I'm seeing with my eyes, what I'm explaining to the patients, what feedbacks I get from the patients. So, my teaching style is completely different. It's not bookish. It's actually extremely clinical. So that keeps me passionate. So when I'm actually teaching, I feel as I'm doing a procedure, and that's why I'm narrating it in a very, very different way.
Okay. And what do you feel is the best takeaway from your teaching experiences?
Well, I've learned a lot from my students as well. They tell me how to improvise on my teaching skills many a times. So my experience has been that every time I'm teaching, I'm expressing myself better because my questions asked by my students improve the way I teach. So my experience has been that every class is making me richer and richer. And I perform actually better procedures just because my students ask a few questions. So I'm bettering myself every time.
Okay, so my next question is teaching versus practice. What is closer to your heart?
Practice, clinical practice. But I teach as if I'm practicing. So teaching is also very close to my heart. But practice is, yes, what I'm really doing. It's like my everyday stuff.
Okay. How does that make you feel? Like, when you teach and then you practice at the same time, which is like sort of you are getting updated with technology each and every day, and then you have a whole team to share it with.
Yes, so I've been associated with institutions also for several years. So that institution background is always there. I can have a lot of friends I can discuss things with. So I keep learning all the time. So when I'm teaching or when I'm practicing, for me it's the same song. It's the same song with a little different rhythm. I don't think it's a different song for me at all. And it's all like a song or a music for me. I love that. So I practice because I love practice. I don't practice because it's a job for me. I don't practice because it earns me money. Money is a byproduct for me, both for teaching as well as practice.
Okay. What does the power to create a beautiful smile mean to you? When a patient is 100% happy and is smiling, what does that mean to you?
See, for me, it's like changing lives. It's like changing lives. So for me, we as dentists have the power of changing people's life. And I have examples of that. So if you create a powerful smile for a young person, uh, today he's happy, he's great, right? But I've seen patients 20 years later coming and telling me, initially I used to not even talk to people. Today I'm the marketing head of a pharma company. Because thank you to you, you gave me the confidence to smile and it's changed my life. I think it's a great feeling when you when you get gratification in that manner, that people feel that smiling is not just making me look good, but it's changed the way I feel about myself, and then I did great in my career. I did great in my business or whatever I do. So that's a great feeling.
Okay. Since you are in this profession for such a long time, how has the mindset of public changed towards dentistry in the last 25 years?
Well, I think initially the awareness of dentistry was less, and we used to educate people a lot. We did a lot of hard work in educating people. It was started with root canal treatments, making them aware of saving a tooth, and then cosmetic dentistry. But very frankly, the awareness has increased, but you still need to have the human connect with people. So it's not true that the human nature has changed. Patients who come still need the human touch from you. Technology has helped us, but communication with your patient, empathizing with whatever he needs to do is very, very important. And making him realize that he's in the best hands is also very important for your brand building. So, it's all about the same stuff. It's just that it's getting very different because information is coming from Google, for the patients.
Yeah. Dentistry as a profession in India versus in the world. What are your thoughts? What's the difference if you're a dentist in India or somewhere outside India?
There is a different thing that you should understand, that the economics work very differently in India compared to US, right? US, your front desk is paid $3,000 US. You don't pay $3,000 to your front desk in India, right? It's completely different. So don't go by how much you earn out of dentistry in India or US. I think the satisfaction factor is the same whether you are in the US, Europe, or India, because the gratification comes from what work you give. So I don't think there is any difference in the way you work in any of these countries. Of course, you probably get more money in terms of what you get in the US or, but at the end of the day, it's all about what you feel about your work. So I think that way, everything is the same. Making money is possible both in India as well as US because the overheads are different, the logistics are different. So the problem is most of the US dentists, they don't have to worry about practice management, business management, getting patients from insurance companies. In India, you don't understand business management, practice management, and you're a failure. You're just following the crowd. If you differentiate yourself with that, business in India can be great as well. So I think there is a lot of hope for a lot of youngsters to learn dentistry from a different perspective to become successful. And they should do that.
And like, what would, if we ask you one advice that you want to give to young dentists who want to set up their practice or have just barely started, let's say 3 years down the line?
See, there are two aspects of it. They should not only think of dentistry from the eyes of other people who are around them. They should start thinking that they have to differentiate themselves from the crowd. They have to think differently. That you use management concepts for success. They have to put right things into place right from the beginning of their practice. So it's not enough that you have an MDS degree and you start practicing. You should understand accounting. You should understand assets. You should understand liabilities. You should know how much loan to take, why to take loans. You should also understand how to build your careers, how much to invest, how to allocate funds, communication with patients, communication with your staff, how to build a business in real terms. And these skills are not taught by dental school. These are not taught by individual people. They're taught by different people. And you need to really reach out to those people. And if you do not do that, and you just go get into dentistry and keep doing dentistry only, you may not find success. So success is in something that you're not been finding for some reason from what is available today. So I would say for young dentists, just don't learn dentistry. Do it, of course, because hard skills are important, but soft skills, understanding business. Throw your egos in the dustbin.
True.
Don't waste a lot of time on social media and to try to say that you are great on social media. Try to focus on your career and you will really get something much better from it.
And when do you feel dentistry will bounce back to its full capacity given today's time, wherein in COVID times dentists are the one who have been largely affected by this pandemic?
Everybody has been affected. It's not the dentist, it's everybody. See, dental services will always remain.
Yeah.
As long as you have teeth, as long as you have food, people will have to eat the food. It's a basic reason why people live. Right? In fact, today, everybody had the time of eating food 3 months sitting at home and realized that they cannot eat well. They're just swallowing. And a lot of people have realized that health is the most important thing in life. So I think the dentistry is going to bounce back like nobody can imagine. By next year, by March, dentistry is going to bounce back. So the people who are going to deliver dentistry need to understand that people have understood the value of health for the first time in their life, and especially in a country like India, where everything seems to be money, money, money. It's not true. The health has got a very different perspective. So I think wait for 6 months now and you see dentist is going to bounce back. There's no doubt about it. December and on, it's going to come.
So in these COVID times, have you been practicing, and what are the preventive measures that you are taking?
So I've been practicing for a month and more now, and every alternate days. I've been taking rest every alternate days. I'm working like 5 hours per day session, and I've been working continuously without a break at all. All the precautions that you need to take are important, related to entry from your nose, eyes, and mouth. So you need to guard those very well. There are a lot of things being spoken about, a lot of things available in the market, and everybody is coming with a new thought and new idea. But the basic things will remain the same. You need to be managing infection control very well at the back end, and from the front end, you use whatever possible you think you're comfortable with the PPEs so that you do not allow entry of viruses and cross-contamination and manage the health of your team. So I would not go into specifics of what you should use or what you should not use, because you can do it. I can only tell you that the basic thing is, if you wear a mask at home, don't remove it in the clinic. Wear another mask on top of it. If you're using a 3-ply, use another 3-ply on top of it. Remove your first mask only when you get back home, when everything is clean. If you can do that, it's great.
Okay.
Protect your eyes. If you're wearing glasses, wear another goggle on top of it. If you're wearing a goggle, you want to wear a face shield, you can do that as well if you think it's convenient.
Yeah. Okay. In current time, most of the world is, going through anxiety and is in a lot of stress. Any advice to people on how to deal with this pandemic?
Well, if you can deal with stress, then what your personality, what you really are, is at test. People who under stressful situations react differently, become angry, become violent, are people who have to work a lot with their internal chemistry. I know people are going to go through anxiety, but anxiety is something which can be slightly reduced if you communicate well with your friends, your spouses, your near and dear ones. Understand or some other senior people, and start talking to other people. Don't keep it with yourself, because that can be really bad. Don't worry about things. Finances will manage. Everything will get managed. Don't worry about it. Youngsters, don't worry about what's going to happen. Just think that it's a bad phase for everybody in the world. Okay, and you have to find a way out of it. Negotiate with people.
Yeah.
And try to make it. Negotiate wherever possible. Try to give them, a reason for that, and try to reduce anxiety in day-to-day life as much as you can.
Okay. You have been a part of Chesa Academy. Your views on that?
See, I think what Chesa is doing is extremely good. I think the interview that you're taking today is extremely good, because this is the side of Ratnadeep Patil that people do not know, because they always see me on a podium or a platform, or they know about me, or they know about SmileCare. So the understanding that I also come from the same kind of upbringing or same kind of thought process as everybody can, but I've just done things a little differently. I've used my brains for doing things differently, learned a lot from people, not being egoistic at all in my life, not being overly using any, I've not done anything where I've not got something back from it. No, I always try to do something where I could get something out of it, because I always believe that there's no free lunch for anybody, for you or for anybody else.
Yeah.
So I would say that Chesa Academy is doing a great job by bringing all of these things together, while they have other things like providing technology or solutions to dentists. So it's a great initiative.
Thank you so much, sir. A short message for our viewers.
Dentistry is great. It's a great career. If you build your business, you can do a lot of stuff. If you build a structured company, really navigate it well, you can also get a lot of people interested in your company. You can build more in the future. So try to build your business so that you don't leave it the time you're retiring, but it keeps growing on its own. Create a lot of wealth for yourself. Do not just make money. Making money is stupid. Creating wealth is what you need to do. It's a hard thing to do. Believe me, 31 years in practice. Keep trying to do that, and finally you will get there. So try hard, but try genuinely, and just throw your egos in the dustbin. Learn, do a SWOT analysis for yourself, and you will be there. I believe that the youngsters are very powerful. They're going to change the way India is.
thank you so much, sir. That was about it. Thank you so much. It was really, really nice learning about your journey, about your struggles, about how you were as a kid. It was such a fun time. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Sakshi, and all the best to all the viewers. And we are sure going to come out of these COVID times very soon. Bye.